Well, hello there. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're safe and well. This video is going to be all about my adventures at the AirAbility Benchrest Bootcamp. So let's roll the titles. So what's this one all about then? Well, if you've seen my video number 55, you know that I've started having a go at Benchrest, investigating what it's all about, just to just to expand my horizons and try some different things. And as part of that, I joined the AirAbility Facebook group, where there's a lot of a chat about Benchrest, and you can ask questions, and very friendly and helpful group. And as a result of that, I heard about the AirAbility Benchrest Bootcamp. So this was mid-July, I contacted Mac Leaves, who runs the AirAbility Facebook group, and just wanted to check that I was a good fit for the bootcamp. And he said yes, so I signed up. And this last weekend, I went down to Chippenham to actually take part over the Saturday and the Sunday at Chippenham Rifle and Pistol Club. So this video is sort of like a diary of the event, really, and my experience at the event, and also the days leading up to it, where I was sort of preparing my gear and trying to sort out which rifle I was going to take, which one was actually going to be able to hit a 2mm bullseye at 25 yards. So let's get on with it, shall we? Right, here we are again out in the garden range then. Sun's very bright because it's low on the horizon. It's behind the camera, shining straight in my eyes. So that's why my photochromatics have gone dark. So anyway, what are we up to? Well, I signed up for the AirAbility Bootcamp, which is at the weekend. It's now Monday, and I'm going to be travelling across to Chippenham on Friday for a Saturday and Sunday at the Chippenham Rifle Club. And I still haven't made up my mind which rifle that I'm going to take. I've got the FTP 900 out. I'm pretty frustrated because it's not performing as accurately as it was when I first bought it. Now the only change I've made really is changing the stock from the left hand to the right hand stock. So what I'm going to do on this session is, first off, I'm going to shoot with this stock and just shoot a selection of pellets. Just going to quickly do like 3 or 4 3-shot groups with each pellet, just to see if there's a significant difference, and then I'll pick the best pellet, and then I'll compare the right hand stock, take this stock off, put the left hand stock on, and see whether whether it changes anything. But at the moment, you notice that I've got the EPL4 back on from Arcan Optics, because I've put the Citron on the S400, because believe it or not, the S400 was actually shooting a bit more accurately than this, so I might end up taking the S400. But we'll see. I mean, I'd like to take this if I can, and if it turns out to be that the other stock's better, then I'll do the quick mods. I've got enough time, I think, to do the mod with the back end so that it fits in the bag better, and then see how we go from there. So I'm not gonna show you doing me all the shooting. I'll just record the cards after I've shot them, rather than you don't want to sit watching me just shoot 3-shot groups. So I say I'll show you the results, and then we'll do a little bit of an update in between of what's going on. So I'm going to get on and shoot. Right, I've shot the card with the right hand stock. Now I've put the left hand stock on. You notice I've not got a cheek piece on this, so I'm going to have to do sort of like floating cheek. I don't know, see if that makes a difference. I'm going to go through and do exactly the same thing again, and then when we're finished, we'll look at the 2 cards and see if there's a notable difference. I've outlined in red, these were 3-shot groups, and I've outlined the target that I was aiming at, and where the shots landed, so that we can make a comparison. So let's take the first line then. The air arms fields, and I think from there the right hand stock's showing slightly better on that one, especially on these the third and fourth groupings, and even the first actually is a little bit closer. It's funny that this grouping here very similar to that. So I would say on that the right hand, the air arms fields are shooting better in the right hand stock. We come down to the JSB exacts, similar results really, although saying that I would suggest that we look at these groups here. There's 2 shots through the ball there, 1 dropped, 3 shots there, 3 there, 3 there. That's preferring the left hand stock, which is a bit odd. We come down to the VIRARC FT exacts, so they're made from the same factory as the further 2. These are possibly the best pellets of the bunch actually. They didn't they had a good a good group in there. That spread out a bit, not a bad group in there, not bad there, and then you can see these are all pretty close. I think certainly that looks like, you know, out of all these pellets, probably the most reliable results in both stocks. Is there a difference between the stocks? Perhaps the left hand stock, slightly tighter groups. Moving down to the Barracuda 8s, similar size groups really. Yeah, this was unusual. This is what happens with this rifle. You shoot 3 shots through the same hole like there, and you think, oh, it's finally trying to sort itself out. Then you do these other 2 groups, and you think, oh, we're finally getting somewhere. Perhaps it's letting itself in, and then you shoot something like that, and it's like, what is going on? And then finally we get down to the Barracuda FTs. You know, I really want these to do well, because this seems to be, you know, the bench rest pellet of choice, and you can see here not particularly good groups here, but the difference with the left hand stock. So I mean, from this it seems to be suggesting, looking at this, that the rifle works better in the left hand stock than the right hand stock. Now I can't really get my head around that. Can anybody explain that? But you know, no doubt if you look at that, they're generally, on the whole, on average, with all of these pellets, the tighter, more consistent groups are with the left hand stock. And the left hand stock was the stock that I was going to modify for bench rest anyway, so I guess, you know, that's happy days. But you can still see here really, you know, the consistency. Sometimes, say we've got this group, this group, this group, that one, that one, that one, perhaps that one, and then we come down here, that one, that one, that one. You know, occasionally it starts to look like it's actually behaving itself, but then, you know, even with the same pellets, you know, the groups spread out for no apparent reason. And it's not down to the wind, because they're not all going in the same direction. They just seem to be going off everywhere. So bit of a head scratcher, that one. Right, now we've looked at the 2 cards for the FTP 900. Going to shoot the S400. It's got the Citron S2 on, and so we can make a comparison to see if this is a better choice for the weekend. So final comparison then, we've got the FTP 900 in left hand stock, which I decided was probably the better performance than the right hand stock, and I've got the S400 out just in the normal bespoke, you know, I guess HFT stock at 25 meters, shooting the same pellets, just to make a comparison to what we think is the, you know, what I think is the most accurate rifle. So, and I think you can see, certainly, I mean, I know the S400 likes the air arms. Started off with a really good group, opened out a little bit there, opened out there and there. Even the JSBs, you know, didn't look great on this target. Again, we got the VIRARC FT exacts, which the best performer, I think. So I'll have to remember that. because I know my 97 likes these, but hadn't really tested them much on anything else really. The Barracuda 8s did okay through the S400 as well, which was a surprise. Probably as good as the FT Exacts, and better than the JSB Exacts actually. I'm trying to think what. Oh yeah, I used the 23 tin on those, so the 2023 tin, so they should be okay. And then come down to the ignore this target, this shot here. That's all fly guts. A fly landed on the target when I was shooting, and I couldn't resist having a pop at it. And you can see I splattered it, so ignore that one. But the FTs, you got 3 there, 3 there, and 3 at the bottom. I didn't. I was sort of losing the afternoon really. It was starting to get a little bit dark and cold, so I called it a day after 3 groups. But certainly the Barracuda 8s are okay on there, and the FT Exacts were working well. Well, it's Thursday evening. What is it? It's 4:30. Came out in the garden to do a bit of shooting just before we lost the light. I'm still persevering with this FTP 900 because I want to take this to the AirAbility Benchrest Bootcamp. I'll be heading off tomorrow afternoon to get up there ready for Saturday morning. You can see on here what I've done. I've just been in the workshop and I've fitted this this bit of aluminium bar along here, so that, and it's less than an inch thick, so it's legal. So it sits nicely in the back bag that I bought. And I thought I'd have a last go at trying to sort out the. Oh, hang on a minute, we've got some jets going past. Oh, F-35s, low level. RAF F-35 Lightning 2s going low level, treetop height, just past down the river. Alright, that's an aside. Sorry, I'm a bit of a spotter. Right, so we're using the best pellets that, or the pellets that look like the most accurate from the last test I did, the FT Exacts, which are Vera pellets, but they're made in the JSB factory, and I've had sort of good. I've had good done good things with these. They're quite good quality pellets, and I'm not sure. I think they were even a little bit cheaper than the JSB Exacts. But anyway, I've got a few tins of these left because I bought a sleeve of these, so I've got plenty for the weekend. So that's good. And I'm just shooting out the tin. I've bought a little spirit level to put on the scope here, but I thought I'd have one last go. I mean, I did have this is the Rowan Engineering adapter for the moderator that slides on the barrel, and I'm thinking all of my woes have been really since I had this thing, and the rifle was shooting fine when I first got it, and it had this monstrosity on it, this adapter here, which has actually got like a plastic clamp inside and clamps on the barrel, so you don't actually touch the barrel. It doesn't actually touch the barrel with grub screws. I've put this on and I've shot, well, I shot some groups with this and then put this on, and it's like, oh, revelation, why didn't I do it earlier? So let me go and get the target and show you. Oh, have I lost my Allen key thingy? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Let me go and get the target and show you, and see why I'm a little bit relieved at this late hour with the results. Bear with me. Okay, so this is the target I've just shot then. This top line, 3 shot groups with the Rowan adapter, and you can see there I shot 2 pellets there, and then this one pellet was shot in that group and it shot right off again. It was the same old story, sort of like wild pellets. So I shot another one and got a reasonable group. Then I changed over to this the original clamping moderator adapter that obviously the rifle likes,
And then I shot these 3-shot group, 3-shot group, 3-shot group, 3-shot group. Well, that's a bit more like it, isn't it? So yeah. So anyway, that that is staying on there. Um, I think I think just to hedge my bets, I'll take the S400 with me and leave it in the case in the car just in case. Uh, but that is looking a lot better. I think I can get a much better score with that sort of thing. You can see they're a little bit high. I need to, zero it in, because obviously, changing the way that mod's on is going to change the zero. So I need to zero that in. But I'm feeling a lot more confident about this rifle now. I was ready to sort of like bin it because I didn't know what was going on. So there you go. That's where we are at the moment anyway. Thought I'd show you that.
Now, it struck me the other day, I'm going to this boot camp, and apparently we're going to be shooting at least 9 cards, like competition cards. And there's a competition on Sunday, which is 3 cards. And I actually I've been faffing around with these rifles trying to get one that actually shoots straight, that I hadn't shot a card. So the other day when I was, mucking around comparing the left-hand stock and the right-hand stock, I shot 2 cards for the first time when the rifle was way off. You can see here, look, there's some that are close to the ball, and you just seem to think you're gonna, you're doing okay, and then the pellets go all haywire again. So that was a pretty pitiful 221. So I thought I'd see if I could try better, and I shot this one. You can see that was on the 7th. This is the second card, slightly better, but not much. 229. So I was pretty despondent. But having put that old moderator adapter back on this evening, I thought I will have before I go in, while there's still enough light, I'd shoot another card and just quickly knock this one out. And there's a few loose shots there for some reason, don't know why, but certainly from 229 up to 237, 7 X's. I mean, I might have scored it wrong. I think that's a sort of a reasonable, score. Looking at the scorings, I haven't got one of these scoring plugs, so I have to sort of like judge the size of a 2.2 pellet for the scoring. So yeah, so 237, a lot better than 229, and actually gives me some hope. So hopefully I'm I'm in better standing now, ready for shooting some competition cards on Saturday and Sunday. We'll see. This is the gear that I've decided to take then. I'm going to stick with the FTP 900. I'll take the S400 as a sort of reserve gun in case I get any malfunctions or any problems with this. As you can see, I've got the Arken EPL4 4-16 by 44 scope on. The Citron's on the S400, which would have been the better scope, but to be honest, I haven't got time to change it over and zero it in. As you can see, I put the spirit level on the scope using the Caldwell rear bag, and we're using my my metal bench rest at the front, that's adjustable. I've made up like a little spirit level thing that I can slide in there to set the level. And I've got I've got the plastic, my rubber pad that I've made to go on the table so that the points don't make a mark in the wooden tables. I don't know what the rules are at Chippenham, but as I've heard that most ranges, they don't want you putting your spikes straight on their wooden tables. You can see I've gone back with the original mod adapter, and I'm using the 0dB moderator, which, because you can that was the most accurate results that I was getting. Here's my homemade wind indicator. I've got 2 of these that I'll be using. Not sure if these are going to work because I don't really know what I'm doing with wind indicators, but it's something to be getting on with anyway. So we'll see how we go. We'll learn more about wind indicators at the event. And the pellets that I'll be using from the tests out in the garden range, looks like the best bet's going to be the 8.44 FT exacts that are marketed by VeraArc but are made in the JSB factory. So that's the gear that I'm going to be using at the boot camp. So we're here at the AirAbility Benchrest Bootcamp then at Chippenham Rifle Club in Chippenham. Well, that's a surprise. And here inside 25-yard range, got great facilities here. There's also a 100-yard range outside and a 50-yard range that we're using for the 25-meter bench rest. The way it's going this morning, we shot an indoor card at 25 meters, and that's to set the standard that we have to sort of like meet shooting outside in the wind. I've had a couple of lectures this morning on using wind flags and setting up for a competition, which has been really interesting. Getting the benefit, the experience of the circuit bench rest shooters here. And we've also shot 2 targets out in the wind, and I believe we've got a further 2 targets to shoot this afternoon, and a few more sort of lectures and discussions. And so far it's been really enjoyable. Thoroughly enjoying the shooting outside in the wind, and getting used to using the information from the wind flags and working out how to aim off. And the second card particularly I enjoyed because there was a bit more wind. So yeah, so far so good. Okay, let's take a look at my indoor target then. And I know the first thing you're going to say is the target's upside down. Well, that's because this was the way that the target was presented on the range. So these are my first 2 shots, and I run down in this direction from left to right. So you can see here, look, 2 pretty consistent left shots there. So after those 2 shots, I actually made an adjustment to the windage on the scope and gave it a couple of clicks right. And then you can see the next 2 shots were X's. And then we go down until we get to this. This is the same old story of what I've been experiencing. Inexplicable drop there for some reason. Can't explain that one. And but apart from that, the rest of them are all sort of like touching. That was a 9, believe it or not, because once it's checked, it's touching the line. So they're all 9s or inside the 9 ring, so I can't really complain about that given my experiences with the rifle leading up to this. It's just you know, dropped an extra point there. So if I turn the target around, you can see my score. They put the score in there. It was a 234 with 7 X's. So I guess, you know, I can't be disappointed with that, because that sort of compares to you know, to the scores that I was getting. I showed you the other targets that I was doing outside before a couple of days before the comp. So that was what I was working on then. A score of 234. I needed to better that in the on the targets outdoors.
Right, just to give you a little rundown. Some of you have done this before, some of you haven't done. So you'll have a 20-minute detail. I'll let you know when you've got 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left, and a minute left. If you've got any questions during it, just put your hand up. Somebody will come and help. Little thing with note as well. Obviously, again, it's very relaxed here, but in the actual competitions themselves, you've got to stay seated, and when you finish, please don't be talking to each other and looking around too much. Believe it or not, in an actual competition, you will get disqualified for that. Obviously here, it's relaxed, we're all learning, but any questions, just pop your hands up. So, are we pretty much all ready to go?
Yep.
Okay, so if you'd like to remove your breech flags, please, you can load your rifles and I'll tell you when to start. Okay, 20-minute detail starts now.
Here I'm shooting the second practice detail then, and you'll notice that for this detail I'm up on the left hand edge of the range. During a competition you're drawn in different lanes, so you never shoot the same lane twice. So we were encouraged to use different lanes during the practice sessions so that we could experience how the wind changes in each different lane. Even lanes, you know, are quite close to each other, you can experience completely different winds because of the surrounding structures and roofs and hedges and trees and that sort of thing. So it was quite an interesting experience to see that as you move along the line, the wind changed quite significantly in the way it affected your pellet.
One minute remaining.
I shot my final practice detail in a central lane. One thing to notice here, look at all these wind flags in adjacent lanes, how they're all reacting slightly differently. So you can see the wind in each lane is doing its own thing. Well, it's early Sunday morning and we're back at the range at Chippenham Rifle Club, and today we're going to have our competition. We're shooting 3 cards, and as I understand it, our scores are going to be compared to our score yesterday in the indoor range to see whether we've improved or not. So let's see how it goes, shall we?
Today is where the rubber meets the road, right? We had the friendly day yesterday, and today is competition day. And we're going to try and replicate a BRUK competition, you know, as closely as we can. So it works on a half-hourly cycle of relays. So the competition, we have time for slippage, so don't freak out. This is the first one. But really, we should be shooting a detail every 30 minutes throughout the day. So hopefully, yesterday we talked about staying calm, how to set your gear up, practice. You had several shots, several cards yesterday where you could.
So in the competition then we had 3 cards, each a 20-minute detail, and between each detail you get 10 minutes to clear your stuff away, and in that same 10 minutes the shooters for the next detail need to set up their rifles and flags and be ready to go at the same time. So it's quite regimented and you need to be on top of your game.
Somebody else, I've got them up here.
Just setting up now for my 3rd card. Shot 2 cards, seem to be improving today. Certainly my 2nd card was better than my 1st, and looks a bit, you know, probably my best card so far this weekend. So we're just about to shoot the 3rd card, and that will be the end of it for Sunday's comp, and just have to wait for the scores on the doors, I guess.
So, have we had a good weekend? Sorry? I know, but not on camera. I need public gratification that I could, you know, show people. So anyway, we've all had a good weekend. I've had a great weekend. I think the camaraderie of everybody and the willingness to learn and share has been great. First of all, we go for the big competition that we did today, the main 3-card event. Who won that event? Who had the top score? Well, can I just say I'm blown away.
right? So what we really need to understand is that the world record for light air rifle, can only be broken after World Championships, right? But it doesn't mean that this is a fantastic score, right? And that is 745, I believe, right? The winner of today won with 746. Right? So, you know, and this is meant to be a rookie event. So we've got another ringer here. And this person also is one of only 2 people who scored a 250 at this event. And I've never scored a 250 in an event. So, you know, the standard is being really high. But we're not going to say who that is quite yet. So we're going to go from 3rd place. Right?
Yeah, normally we get called
Do
out.
we do, no, we're going to call do them on 3. People can see what you go. Right, Lou, would you like to pop up your 3rd mate? Michael, 2nd. With, and all I can say is, when this gentleman usually rings me up and I'm in the back, right, and we chat about air guns, right, I am never going to hear the end of this now, but the fact that you've got 746. Rob, thank you very much. I don't know whether this is the guys who listen the most to Matt or the guys who listen the least to Matt. So, in 3rd place, so remember, we all shot an indoor card, and this was who could replicate their indoor score the closest outdoors, which was the whole idea of the weekend. Yeah. So, Phil Roberts. Oh, Phil.
And how much did he improve by?
Oh God, I can't figure that out. Where we
Says
are.
it on there.
There in red.
Oh, 12 points. So he was within 12 points, yeah?
And how many extras?
5 X's. I'll be here all day. Right, are we on 2nd? Well, God, it's going to be a family affair today. So with 12 points and 9 X's, they were far away from their card. It's Sid Silverstone. Sorry, I haven't got a plan for you, Sid, but I've got a bit of mess for you.
Well done, Sid.
And then, oh God, there's a 3rd one here. Julie Boots. Right, so, first with 14 points and 8 X, Andy Draper. So, Jason gifted this rifle to the event, and you know, it's not a small thing giving a rifle away, and he wanted to give it to what he thought was the most deserving shooter among us that could probably use it the most, right? And that wasn't it. So evidently there was a conversation at the meal. No, it's not you, Rob. There was a conversation at the meal, and Jason, you know, made people start thinking. Do you know what I mean? What else can we do? So can you back up a bit? Justin gifted a rest to put into the package, right? And that wasn't all, because Kev and Sue gifted a scope and a backpack. It's not here today, but it will come. So that means somebody's going to get a full Benchrest setup to be able to shoot. I'm getting there. Right? But that's not all. These wonderful flags will be going to the same person. So this person is going to get a, you know, plug-in and play virtually Benchrest setup. And, you know, it's John, isn't it? John, are you there? Yeah. Where's he at? mind if you have a photo? Thank you.
So competition over then. We've had the tea, we've had the medals. Now it's time for the long drive home. And we'll wrap this one up. Well, been there, done it. Got the t-shirt, as they say. So let's have a chat about my experience of the AirAbility Bootcamp 2024 then. First off, I must offer a great deal of thanks to all the people that organised the event. I mean, I had a fantastic time, really good weekend. So thank you to everybody involved in the organisation. Thanks to the support and guidance of all the experienced shooters there, and also to the camaraderie of everybody that was on the boot camp, both when we were at the range and in the pub in the evening. It was just, you know, everybody was so helpful and friendly. You know, plenty of people there to answer questions, even if they might have been sort of the most basic and ridiculous questions I had. But yeah, no, appreciate all of you. Enjoyed your company. So thanks very much for that. So moving on then, first thing is, it is much harder than it looks. You know, if you've not tried, you know, bench rest outside, I mean, even inside is hard enough to get a good score to set things up and, you know, shoot well indoors. But outside, you know, you add the additional elements of the wind and, yeah, it's harder than it looks. And if you don't believe me, go and give it a try and see how you get on. So let's talk about, you know, my experiences then with the actual shooting. Now, you know, sometimes in competitions, especially like the HFT competitions, as try as I might, I don't always practice what I preach. And I do get a little bit wound up and, you know, the old heart rate goes up and everything. I found this pretty different, actually, a bit, you know, I was relaxed over the whole weekend. I wonder whether it was partly because, you know, my expectations of what I could achieve with that rifle setup, with the problems that I was experiencing, or well, the perceived problems anyway, was that, you know, I didn't put any pressure on myself because I thought, well, you know, if I anything that I did that was slightly better than, you know, what I'd shot in the garden was going to be an improvement. So I found the whole competition part very relaxed. I mean, one of the things very different from HFT, if you're used to HFT competitions, once you go in the detail and the detail starts, you know, there's nobody standing behind you, you know, with a banter and taking a mickey and trying to put you off your shot. You know, you've totally got the opportunity to focus for that 20 minutes, and I really appreciated that. And in the comp, I found during the practice day, undercover, because a lot of people were shooting unmoderated, it was quite loud. So I used earplugs actually for when I shot my cards. So I found that really good, and that enabled me to sort of, like, you know, zone in a little bit more. So yeah, I found it a very relaxing experience, and sort of, you know, that was you know, a bit different. Moving on to the timing then, 20 minutes to shoot 25 shots plus your sighters. To begin with, you feel like 20 minutes is not enough time for 25 shots, because obviously that's sort of less than a minute a shot. But when you sit down and wait for a minute, I mean, that's an awful long time. And on the practice day, I was probably sort of finishing my shots and just over half time, with say 8 or 9 minutes left. So I found I had to slow down a bit and stop and, you know, try and relax between shots and pace myself. I didn't get to spread out across the entire 20 minutes, but I did find that I did start to relax a little bit more and take my time and think about what I was doing. So that was interesting. The main thing to talk about really is the wind. Okay, now, you know, shooting HFT, I'm used to shooting in the wind, but you know, we're talking about wind in a very different context here. It was amazing to me. I mean, you can see on the video that I took walking down the range that, you know, wind flags, you know, less than sort of, well, about 4 or 5 foot apart, can all be showing a different, you know, indication of the wind. And you know, from one lane to the next, your experience with the wind during the detail can be totally different to the people either side of you. So yeah, that was a bit of a revelation. And I hadn't really thought about it, to be honest. Let's let's just quickly look at a target, and I'll put the 15 millimeter sizer over, and you can see that basically covers the 8 ring. Now, if I'm shooting a 15 millimeter target at 25 yards on an HFT course, and there's a bit of wind, because the kill zone's so big, I can basically get away with sticking the my aim point within the inside edge of the kill zone and still getting a kill. But on these targets, given the size of the target, you're talking about the difference between 2 points, and 2 points to lose on one target is a lot. You don't want to be doing that. You want to be getting, touching the 10 every time. So that's when you realize that the wind becomes more significant. So yeah, that was a revelation, and I think that there are sort of certainly benefits from appreciating the effect of the wind even at those that shorter distance, and practicing that and taking that experience across onto an HFT course. So let's have a look at my target then. Out of the 3 targets that I shot in the competition, then the first was the lowest at 232. This target is the second one I shot, which was my best score of the weekend, which was 240. And my third target was close to this one. It was a 239. So if we look at this, you can see here, basically let myself down with the first shot. I can't, no explanation as to why I'm shot so wide and high there with a 7. So you can see there that I dropped that first line. I dropped 6 points. Then as the comp went in, as the detail went in and I settled in, the next 4 lines I only dropped 1 point in each of those. So the consistency was there. So had it not been for that poor score there and these couple of 9s here, I need to get myself tuned in a little bit quicker. Obviously I was starting to get a bit more of a handle on the wind there. So 240, I'm well happy with that. I will take, with that setup that I'm shooting at the moment, I will take 240 every day of the week. So very pleased with this card. Yeah, I'll take that. So in conclusion then, I had a fantastic time. No regrets of going. I really enjoyed the weekend. I felt a little bit disappointed when it was over. I would have liked to have spent another day there and shot a lot more cards, because I was improving. Things were getting better. I was understanding a little bit more what was going on and what I was doing with the rifle and how to improve things. So yeah, it was a great weekend. So I hope you enjoyed that, found it interesting anyway. If you do get a chance to shoot some bench rest, I would recommend it, because I think whatever discipline that you're shooting, you will learn something from it that you can take across into your own discipline. That's always a good thing. So that's all from me in this one, and I'll just say bye for now.